another hour, yeah, that just passes by. I could stay awake for a century, a memory. I don't think that I could take more than a breath from me. Nothing's left for me. Running out of friends inside my head, like losing power. The shadows start to spread. This food is sour, tastes different when you're dead. I need a shower, cold water on my head. I'm running out of friends inside my head, like losing power. The shadows start to spread. This food is sour, tastes different when you're dead. I need a shower, cold water on my head. I'm running out of friends inside my mind. I'm drinking out of Coronas with a lime. My thoughts get louder, and I forgot the time. I listen out of my headphones to survive. I'm running out of friends inside my mind. Don't know how I found them. They help me kill the time. A quarter pounder sounds pretty good tonight. Another hour, yeah, that just passes by. I could stay awake for a century, a memory. I don't think that I could take more than a breath from me. Nothing's left for me. Running out of friends inside my head, like losing power. The shadows start to spread. This food is sour, tastes different when you're dead. I need a shower, cold water on my head. I'm running out of friends inside my head, like losing power. The shadows start to spread. This food is sour, tastes different when you're dead. I need a shower, cold water on my head. I'm running out of friends inside my mind. I'm drinking out of Coronas with a lime. My thoughts get louder, and I forgot the time. I listen out of my headphones to survive. I'm running out of friends inside my mind. Don't know how I found them. They help me kill the time. A quarter pounder sounds pretty good tonight. another hour, yeah, that just passes by. I could stay awake for a century, a memory. I don't think that I could take more than a breath from me. Nothing's left for me. Running out of friends inside my head, like losing power. The shadows start to spread. This food is sour, tastes different when you're dead. I need a shower, cold water on my head. I'm running out of friends inside my head, like losing power. The shadows start to spread. This food is sour, tastes different when you're dead. I need a shower, cold water on my head. I'm running out of friends inside my mind. I'm drinking out of Coronas with a lime. My thoughts get louder, and I forgot the time. I listen out of my headphones to survive. I'm running out of friends inside my mind. Don't know how I found them. They helped me kill the time. Quarter pounder sounds pretty good tonight. Another hour, yeah, that just passes by. I could stay awake for a century, a memory. I don't think that I could take more than a breath from me. Nothing's left for me. Running out of friends inside my head, like losing power. The shadows start to spread. This food is sour, tastes different when you're dead. I need a shower, cold water on my head. I'm running out of friends inside my head, like losing power. The shadows start to spread. This food is sour, tastes different when you're dead. I need a shower, cold water on my head. I'm running out of friends inside my mind. I'm drinking out of Coronas with a lime. My thoughts get louder, and I forgot the time. I listen out of my headphones to survive. I'm running out of friends inside my mind. Don't know how I found them. They helped me kill the time. A quarter pounder sounds pretty good tonight. another hour, yeah, that just passes by. I could stay awake for a century, a memory. I don't think that I could take more than a breath from me. Nothing's left for me. Running out of friends inside my head, like losing power. The shadows start to spread. This food is sour, tastes different when you're dead. I need a shower, cold water on my head. I'm running out of friends inside my head, like losing power. The shadows start to spread. This food is sour, tastes different when you're dead. I need a shower, cold water on my head. I'm running out of friends inside my mind. I'm drinking out of Coronas with a lime. My thoughts get louder, and I forgot the time. I listen out of my headphones to Sublime. I'm running out of friends inside my mind. Don't know how I found them. They helped me kill the time. A quarter pounder sounds pretty good tonight. Another hour, yeah, that just passes by. I could stay awake for a century, a memory. I don't think that I could take more than a breath from me. Nothing's left for me.
Good evening, race fans. Welcome to Racers Elite Network. Tonight, we're going to jump across the pod. You can see the Golden Arches of St. Louis in the background. However, we are in the beautiful state of Illinois under the lights in prime time. After all, the nighttime is the right time for Racers Elite in prime time to do battle on this short track wannabe, but drives like it's a Martinsville on steroids. Welcome to this broadcast tonight. Matt Metler up in the booth, and alongside me, of course, as always, the Butterfinger Bandit. Ron, how are you this evening? And are you as fired up as I am tonight to get this race underway?
Stash is getting low, and I'm on the prowl.
Uh-oh. Well, if that's the case, I'm putting all my goodies over here in the locker.
So, I'm not going to have them for Saturday, so my coworkers are not going to be very happy with me Saturday because I'm going to be an angry little bandit.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. You want to send some treats, support the cause. Butterfingers for this man sitting next to me. In fact, that's the only thing that keeps him motivated and prevents him from sometimes tearing the wallpaper off of this joint is we get racked, stacked, ready to rock and roll here. And Rod, under the lights, and as Larry McReynolds always used to say, that's going to dial up the excitometer just a little bit more.
Most definitely. And also, something to take note here, I believe, down there, I believe Andrew has set up a GoFundMe for the Wi-Fi hustler. I
I'm gonna
got you, Matt.
I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna let you handle that one, and just Wi-Fi and Hustler. That we're gonna leave it at that. Is lone qualifying finished up, and I'm telling you, I had a chat with this gentleman before we kicked into qualifying. Truth Hoax said he was garbage. He didn't belong out there, and here he is on the pole tonight. The man out of Boone, North Carolina is going to have the pole. And Ron, look who's starting outside of him, your buddy, Zach Lockett, the Rocket, as this field now begins to grid behind that iRacing.com pace car.
It's Lockett's he's got a big role to carry tonight, starting outside of Truth there. And there wasn't a lot of difference in lap time by any means. A 7.62 to 7.69.007 seconds there. That's a very tight gap. And it's gonna be interesting to see how they handle the looseness of this racetrack throughout the course of tonight's race under the lights for 120 laps. And I believe we're gonna see about 3, maybe 4 stops, maybe probably 3 stops, probably one every 40 laps, I'd imagine.
Yeah, fuel mileage could be one of the wild cards here. I know I had a chance to turn some laps down there in practice. Shifting is the way to get a hot one. However, if you can find a way to stretch it out, leave it in 5th gear at times, that could be an ace up your sleeve, if you will, depending how these trends of the race break down over the course. As Rod just said, 120 laps scheduled distance here tonight as we get ready to go through the starting lineup. The 55, Truth Hope, out of Hickory, North Carolina, is going to be your pole sitter in the 55 ride. Outside of him, going to be the Rocket, Zach Lockett. Almost doesn't count, only in horseshoes and hand grenades. However, as Ron said, a very close lap time there. Only a couple thousandths of a second between your top two. Rolling off P3 is going to be Diego Rodriguez out of Michigan. Always a strong contender here in the series. And a guy that continues to be hot out of this beautiful state of Ohio. Christopher Pendle is going to roll off here P4. One of the shake and bake boys, Brandon Honeycutt, smooth as that Tennessee whiskey, going to roll off here in 6th, while Curtis Ecker is going to start here from that 7th place position. The Nitrous Cowboy, Troy Thomas, has had a good hand here as of recent. He's the man out of Boone, North Carolina. I confused him with the 55. And SRM Zone, I almost said the Ronald Burgundy experience. I was watching Anchorman earlier, and hey, you know what? Alan could fit that role. I could totally see that. He rolls off 9th, and Leroy going to run out your top 10. Teft, the Alex version, here in 11th out of the beautiful state of Rhode Island. And Hayden Malcolm in the 91, the Texas man. Does he have the plan to come from the rear with the gear up to the front? Stick with us here for all the high-flying, high-octane racing action on Racers Elite Network, as those lights are now out on that iRacing.com pace car, which means, Ron, we're about to get to the good part right here from Gateway Motorsports Park, as this field now comes through the turns 3 and 4 complex. Rod, you have the honors. You can take us to green, my friend.
All right, he's watching the iRacing.com official pace car. Will pull down to pit road onto the access road, and he will turn in. And I'm not sure how quick they're going to get the green flag here, but Truth Hope is bringing us down to even 56 miles per hour. And we will go green flag racing here. And he's going to get a nice even start there. And I tell you, he's going to get a bump already from the 20 of Diego Rodriguez. As them, maybe got a little quicker to the pedal, maybe went sooner than Truth did. But here comes the 93 of Lockett trying to battle on the high side. Almost got on the outside wall.
I think I see it.
Good.
It's 2x2 side by side. Sorry to cut you off there. I saw some sparks fly just as the 93 grazed the wall as he was rolling deep looking for a big time run on the top shelf of the racetrack. But Truth Hoke is going to match him on the bottom, and they're still door to door as they go through the start finish line.
Yeah, Brandon Honeycutt got loose, broke the back of the car free coming off of turn number 4. He was able to gather it up and keep with it, though. Zach Lockett looks to take the race lead off of turn number 2 down the back straightaway, and he will have the lead. And Diego Rodriguez is going to settle in for 2nd. Christopher Pendle is looking for 3rd.
Pendle looking for 3rd as Hoke almost hit the smash to pass button here in the early going. Now, Pendle says, hey, if you can do it, I can do it too, as he looks to overtake the 55 as he's eaten on the bottom side, the low line on the racetrack. Now they drag race once again. Barney has had a great seat for these positional battles as they have been literally door to door, side by side for positions inside the top three. The 55 comes up and gives a high five there to the 94, as that's going to drop your pole sitter now back to fourth.
They just had a great run there coming through the center of that corner, and he reeled in Christopher Pendle a lot more than I think he realized. And I think that's Pendle's trying to save a little more tire, and it could come down to a little bit of steering offset here where they can change. They can go in there. They can't change the setup. They can't change anything on the car, rod heights or anything like that. But they can change the offset for their wheels to fit these custom setups, all these sim rigs that we have in our lovely homes that allow us to do this awesome racing on the iRacing simulator.
That's right. Everything on the suspension is pretty much locked. So is the powertrain and that rear end gear. However, as Ron said, you can adjust the master cylinders, the bias, and that steering offset. So whatever you can do sometimes to gain just a little bit of an advantage, whether if it's a 10th, a 100th, or a 1,000th of a racetrack. And speaking of that, Diego Rodriguez just hit fast time of 33.77 as he currently runs in that second place position. It has been all Zach Lockett through the first 5 laps. The pole sitter has basically been the big storyline in the early going as he has slid from first all the way to fourth. But Ron, I think this could be a tire-saving strategy. We'll have to watch that story as it develops.
That's definitely watching the weather-wise here, looking at I'm in Celsius over here, so it's 22.5 degrees Celsius in air temperature and 24.4 degrees Celsius as far as track temperature goes. So we'll have to see how that adjusts throughout the race. Looks like the track temperature is rising though as we roll through. It looks like the air temperature is dropping as we work through the nighttime of this race.
That's right. The nighttime is the right time. As Ron gave us the Celsius. Oh, we got problems at the top south of the racetrack. That caution flag is going to come out. We can come back to the weather here in a heartbeat. Let's clear that off of the screen. Somebody got yeeted.
94.
That's going to be Christopher Pendle in the 94 ride. I got a quick glimpse of it before my camera switched to the front of the field there. But let's go back here to the instant replay.
Oof.
And it did not look like it was it was good things out there on the racetrack, Ron. I'm just going to keep it at that. Let's let the replay do the talking and cue playback what transpired out there on the racetrack.
Mountain Dew car wanted some 5-hour energy.
Well, that's one way to do it.
That's about what I chalked it up to.
Well, apparently the black box wants some 5-hour energy because it just spit out the replay I had queued up. Let's try this again here. There we go. The 94 working the high line is going to kind of diamond it down to the bottom of the racetrack here. Oh my goodness. He goes up, does a full-blown keg stand, does a fakey 360, completely bounces back up in the air, and he's going to be picking his teeth up out of the cockpit of that race car for the next month. That was a violent wreck.
Strategy is a very big key, my friend, and we have people and drivers and crews on pit road going to work under the first caution.
Hey, sometimes you got to play that mental chess battle, and you have to work the strategy, and I love seeing that right now. But while we got time, and we'll cover who was down pit road and who's doing what, but I want to take another look here at this violent incident here, the early going on the racetrack for the 94. This was just... This is insane. I mean, you wouldn't think you're going to be able to, generate the type of speed to cause an impact like that. But time and time again, these drivers prove us wrong. Let's send this up here to the eye in the sky. See what the chopper cam picked up. Hopefully, Barney up there in the chopper cam, he's got his earmuffs on. There we go. As we now send you up top. We're going to start this off at full speed and then slow it down. He gets that run off the high side of the racetrack. We're going to slow it down here. Looks like the back end of that car stepped out. And he saved it there. And then it's going to take off on him again right here. Watch this vicious hook back towards Ouch. That almost reminds me of what happened to Michael McDowell a long time ago, I believe at Texas, in the next gen, or the COT car, when he just got loose off the bottom and went head on like a freight train into the outside retaining wall. And I know this is Gateway, but still very similar the way those cars just took off towards the fence. And if it wasn't for a fast repair, Rod, it would be game over for the 94.
Yeah, that's I believe they only have one of those, so he's gonna have to watch his P's and Q's the rest of the night. As he doesn't have one, and they also have an instant disqualification limit of 25, so he will be adding that to his record already. And that's not the way you want to start your race. 8 laps in, which is 6 for him, so he'll be 2 laps down now as they go back to green flag action here. And I believe he should be back out there. All right, yeah, we'll see what happens. Let's go back to green. Let's see. Gonna move now. Looks like after the green flag has been relinquished, the 93 of Zach Lockett goes to the point. The 20 on the racetrack. Yeah.
We're offline. My whole computer just froze up and locked out and shut down. I had to just restart it.
All right, buddy.
I'm sorry. Good evening, race fans. Green flag back in the air, and look who's at the helm for the first time tonight, up 4 spots from where he started. Brandon Honeycutt, Toyota, let's go places. He has taken that 13 to the point and now has the benefit of clean air right here on Racers Elite Network. Brandon Honeycutt now has the lead, Rod. What does he have to do to hold off a hard-charging and ferocious 55 of Truth Hope?
Well, breaking points, hitting his line, and making sure that he keeps that guy in his mirror, which he's doing a terrible job at right now. As we look to the inside, here comes the Wrangler 55 of Truth Hope. As Honeycutt maybe deciding he just needed to lead some laps to get some points, as he lets him slip by, and Truth Hope will go back to the race lead. And he does have him cleared, has not moved up yet in that Wrangler 55, and he will finish button the pants up, and he will take the race lead and back to the point with the 55.
And Truth just shipped his pants to the front of the field once again and made it look easy. And I'm telling you, there was something about him out here in practice. He had a little extra pep in his step, some gleam off the lights here in his belt buckle. I knew he was going to be good, and we all know what type of competitor Honeycutt is. And for him to make quick work of the 13 like that, that's impressive. As now Honeycutt's going to get shuffled back to second, well inside the podium, and Zach Rocket in that other Toyota going to find himself under siege now from a man that you can almost always count on being in the podium, that 20 of Diego Rodriguez, Rod.
So is it really quick work as much as it is maybe strategy? Is maybe Honeycutt maybe saving fuel now? Maybe he got out front, led a couple of laps just to see what it felt like, see how the car felt in clean air. As now he's back in traffic and maybe some dirty air right now, as he's got quite a gap there. So I imagine it's probably pretty clean right now for the 13 for the Powell sponsored ride, as he allowed Zach Lockett's 93 to go forward and the 20 of Diego Rodriguez to sneak back to second place. And I was speaking earlier here of Andrew Tuff's car, and he's gone Hamburglar style on us with the purple McDonald's ride tonight.
That is throwing it back to the Bill Elliott Ford Thunderbird from back in the 90s. I remember that race car well. I believe one of the very first races I went to was 5 or 6 years old, and I'm going to kind of date myself here, which is fine. Going back to the 1993 Bud at the Glen, I want to say Bill Elliott had that paint scheme on the racetrack. However, Mark Martin won that race 3 years in a row. So the first 3 NASCAR races I went to, as New York also my home state, Mark Martin won. But I do remember that paint scheme on Bill Elliott's Ford Thunderbird. That's a great reboot of it on Andrew Tept, as he currently runs in that 6th place position. And there's another guy just kind of biding his time, just being patient. Started P6, and that's where he resides, Rob.
Yeah, Andrew Tuft having a great run so far, and He's just kind of maintaining, like we said here. It looks like a couple of drivers, most of the drivers, not really having such bad luck as much as, and it continues this season. And maybe it can turn around eventually. Christopher Pendle, yet having issues, and part of 2 cautions here tonight is the most recent caution involving Alan Bergen and Christopher Pendle. Was we just came back to green flag racing 4. Bergen got loose and Pendle kind of followed suit, but no contact involved either driver, and they were both able to continue without using faster pairs. And Truth Hook will continue to lead at the helm with Zach Lockett and Diego Rodriguez potentially following in tow here. As I was watching to see if Diego Rodriguez had a move for Lockett as they rolled through turns 1 and 2. Did not happen that time by.
Yeah, Truth Hoke right now is saying straight cash Hobie as he is carrying the torch around Gateway as he currently is large and in charge. And in fact, starting to pull out just a little bit now over the 93. So it's Chevrolet currently P1, then Toyota currently owns that second place position. The first Ford in line in third. So from a manufacturer standpoint, it cannot get any better. All 3 major automotive manufacturers are being represented inside the top 3. And in fact, no change on the scoring pylon. Where they run right now is where these drivers started. Truth Hoke's best lap of the race, a 33.80. The Rocket slightly quicker at 33.75. Rodriguez, the fastest car inside the top 3 at a 7.2. But Rod, you talked about it earlier. It's not going to be the fast lap that wins you this race. It's going to be who can carry the momentum and save those Dr. Feelgoods over the course of these long green flag runs tonight.
And also at this point now we got to work on managing fuel mileage, because I believe we have some offset fuel mileage going on. I'm not sure what that's going to look like. I have not put laps in this car. I do not know what kind of windows they're looking like. I'm guesstimating, like I said, lap 40 for a pit stop. But now that we've got these offset stops, I'm going to say our next stop for your race leader, Truth Hook, is probably going to come around lap 60. And then his next stop would be around lap 100, and I'll give him 20 laps to run down whoever it is that may potentially have the race lead from him. Or by that time, with the 12 drivers currently registered on the race and out here turning laps, I'd say potentially maybe trying to keep guys from potentially knocking them around for that race lead.
Absolutely well said. I think we're going to have a variety of different strategies play out over the course of this race tonight. In fact, let's go ahead and take a look at the pit strategery. Gonna throw that up on the big screen. And right now, everybody inside the top 8 has been out on the racetrack in the same set of shoes and juice box since the drop of the green flag. You have to go back all the way to Alan Bergen as he goes off. Oh my goodness, the broadcaster's curse. Alan, I am sorry. Ron, I put the camera on him as I was going to lead into a little piece of information with him, and he just, well, mistakes were made, and that car has seen better days. As I just broadcasters cursed Alan Bergen out of this race. I sincerely apologize, and it happened again, Ron. I did it again.
Well, I believe at that point in time he had a faster pair, so he may not be out of this completely. I think actually he might have just took himself out. So, yep, he did. He said that's the end of it. He's pulled the plug on the 00's fun. The fun meter's pegged, and it is resetting for next week. He is on the hauler and headed home.
And that now leaves 10 cars in competition out of the 12 that initially took the green flag here. I know we kind of saw it live here on air. However, we will go ahead and take a look at this incident one more time. Is Alan Bergen involved here in a single car incident at Gateway Motorsports Park? This happening now, lap 29. And in fact, you know what? We're gonna keep it on the live side of things just because I don't want that gremlin coming back again.
Yeah, you don't open that portal.
Nope. We're gonna just keep it lean, mean, and green. As we now have it locked on the leader, Truth Hope in the 55 ride. Big things popping, little things stopping right now. Last time by 34-19. The only man quicker than him that last time by was the Rocket, who just happens to be in second, closing in on P1 Rock.
Yeah, it's you can never count out the Rocket, especially when he's in chase mode, and he's definitely in chase mode for sure. And he is just a little bit faster than your racer your last time by. This is the 120 times of swinging these corners out the way they do here. I make that 240 times they get to go around this racetrack at each end of the speedway. They come out to the wall like that. I'm gonna make a mistake eventually, but that's just me.
Hey, I snookered that wall plenty of times out there, as I had never actually ran this racetrack before. I've only broadcasted it, and my gosh, am I glad I put some laps down out there. This place is a lot more challenging and difficult than it looks, as you're now on board with the North Carolina man. Currently on board from his POV view, and you can see that Chevrolet Camaro out his front windshield getting bigger and bigger. Cue the Jaws music here in a few moments, as he has now shaved it down to about 0.5 of a second. That's the gap between P1 and P2. As we currently lap 32 of the schedule 120 here from Gateway Motorsports Park. Ron, 32 laps in the book. What do you say we do our first all-out, wide-open segment? Folks at home, grab that dial, crank it up along with us. Let's send it right here on Racers Elite Network. Good evening, race fans. Welcome back to Racers Elite Network. That extended Crank It Up all-out session brought to you by McCarty Speed Shop, the official speed shop of Racers Elite Network. You want to put a new vibe in your ride? Get hooked up with the center shop that has the speed and the goodness under the hoodie to get you faster in each and every mode out there, whether you're an oval track or on the road side of things. You can tell them Racers Elite sent you. Ron, 38 laps on the board. We're starting to get strung out just a little bit. Truth Hope right now has the vibe, has the look, and has everything going in his direction. However, we've seen this before, and I don't want to bring back, things that have happened in the past, but all I can do when it's looked this good for Truth Hope is thinking about early out of the season when he had everything but the kitchen sink thrown at him to take him out of a potential winning situation. Does that happen again tonight, or does Truth just go ahead and finally punch through and get a very deserved win in this series? Whoa! I was going to say, that looks like lava flowing out of a volcano. And there's the second time I say, talk about Truth, and he just gets served up a twofer in the wrong way in the matter of seconds. Is now Lockett is going to take over P1. Rodriguez is going to slide by as well, as it got tight, up close and personal there. Truth Hope now seems to have perhaps shifted into conservation mode. And him too. Look at the rotors on Zach Lockett as well. His are rolling off the head. And that's only with 41 laps on the board.
These tires, they're like, I don't know how to change the tires yet, so I'd say they're in the middle of the run here on this set of tires. And they're just now getting to where they're having to use a lot more brake to get this car through the corner and be able to get this car under control for the time being. It's 91.8 now. Was just crossing the start and finish line. Just now rolling into turns 1 and 2 as your leader is coming off the pit road entrance turn off turn 4 here to the start finish line now. So it's gonna be a while before we see lap traffic. If we have a caution occur because of somebody getting loose, wipe out all the ground that these leaders have gained on the back of the field. But Zach Lockett is definitely reeling that in, and it may be just one of those things where they just kind of switch positions here between Lockett, Rodriguez, Hope, and Honeycutt as far as the race lead goes until it gets a little bit later in the race.
I always knew you were a position switching kind of guy, Ron. I just kind of got that vibe from you. Out there on the racetrack, of course. Hey, don't keep that finger off my motor finger. I see what's going on here. Is now the 93 of Lockett under siege from Diego Rodriguez, who seemed to have stacked a little bit of Goodyear Eagle in those tires over the long run, and he is there working millimeters off the bumper of the 93. Rodriguez getting as close as he possibly can without making contact. And Ron, that is good, clean, respectable racing. Notice he didn't put the bumper to him, but he's being like the Dale Earnhardt Sr. of old, minus the contact, hitting right in his face, dialing up the excitometer. And Diego trying to see if he can get Lockett to make a mistake mirror drive, but it's going to take a little bit more than that to make the 93 miss.
You don't have to make him miss. The 20's got a little bit of work to do. He was faster last time by his making the cross break this time. Lockett clocks in with a 3.52, and Rodriguez is back to run. 3.87 for that lap. Truth Hope 5.30 with that gap between those three drivers. And I tell you what, speaking of switch positions, the manufacturers ain't gonna like it. We got a Toyota, Ford, and a Chevy in the top three. So the battle is fierce between the manufacturer brands out here at the Gateway Motorsports Complex. Right now, the 5-hour energy turns are being a little treacherous for some of these drivers as they put more laps on the tires.
You always start referring to that as Park's Corner. You have the infamous hard burn turn at the Roval, And here at Gateway, it's 5 Hour Energy, aka Parts Corner. That has been treacherous. It's almost like the Waffle House dumped the bacon grease out there before we took the green flag. And, you know, Ron, look at the rotors again on these race cars. The 93 and the 20, all sorts of red. I thought they'd have a little bit more rear brake dialed in this race car, but again, I really haven't put down competitive laps here, and this is my first time out there in practice. And probably for good reason I'm up here in the booth, because if that was me out there, I'd probably have a little bit more rear brake dialed in the car. And maybe that's what's snake bitten some of these other drivers here who are going. Just too much rear brake, and that back end's taking off on it. And once it does, this racetrack is slick, and it's really hard to sit in that race car.
I know with these cars, the more front brake bias you have in the car, the more stable it is under braking. It takes a little bit longer. You have that set that way, but if you have too little, you're going to spin coming into the corner, and we're already having issues with the brake free on exit. So what we're seeing, that may not be the issue. I mean, as far as brake bias percentages, you can also look at the master cylinder sizes too. The master cylinder is bigger, it's probably going to change how far you push your brake bias. So you got the brake bias might be a little more on the even spectrum than what we're seeing our race leaders.
Well, that's a good point, because by default, they're around the 1-inch mark, which is almost typically what you would see at a road course in this next-gen car. And you bring up a great point there, Ron, about, you know, front brake bias and stability. However, this being a fixed setup race where you cannot modify the setup at only 65% fuel, where iRacing, by design, these setups are generated with 100% payload, so that extra weight in the fuel cell when these cars are set up by iRacing. You take that fuel out, that's going to make this car a little bit lighter in the back, which is going to transfer more weight to the front, which is going to give it a natural tight condition, which is why I initially thought we would see more weight or more rear brake bias. But you're absolutely right that bringing that bias forward, that would help alleviate that looseness condition. And I get back to what I said earlier. I'm better up here in the booth than out on that racetrack tonight, as this is getting into an old-fashioned slugfest here at the point between Zach Lockett and the 20 Diego Rodriguez. Last time by a 34-65 to the 93 versus a 34-68 to the 20. Rod, that's how close they are at speed right now.
They're very, both the drivers seem to have a similar strategy in mind as they work their way down and back straight away into turns 3 and 4. And Rodriguez hasn't given up on that Mustang. He's trying to get a run on that Toyota Camry in the back. Lockett gets off on 4 really well. Down to the start-finish line. Geico Insurance restarts them. They go down into turn 1 and 2. The Michigan that Mustang. Sponsor 20 trying to change his angle of entry just a little bit, trying to carry more momentum through the corner. And both those drivers ran 34.4s last time by one of them 4.53. They were on the back straight. Looks like Lockett may have gotten away just a hair there. Rodriguez is going to have a better entry and a better set. Seems like the 93 has got the better exit all around. And able to stretch that back out to what it wants.
I'll tell you what, from my observation, it looks like that 20 is starting to turn into a snowplow right now. He is getting tight. He is in that dirty airway coming off the 93, and I, from my perspective, I'm not in the car, but I think he's really starting to cook that right in front. He's going to have to back it down and find a different line. This is a great case example of catching them as one thing, testing them as another. He takes a peek, but he thinks better of it because the 93 had a great run there as well. See, here you go. Now Diego's going to try to get that. That's exactly what you got to do with the situation. You got to try to put yourself where that 93 isn't. Give yourself some clean air to the front of that race car and see if you can get it to rotate. You're going to shoot yourself in the foot if you stay in tow where he is right now each and every time. That's just going to burn those tires off the race car. Check the box, and 93 will win that every time. As So now 55 laps on the board out of 120 laps. Let's check into the youtube.com live chat right now. Let's go, freaking go, Walker. Appreciate you being here. Julia, of course, cheering on the 43 as always. The Ellen Experience. That's Ellen Bergen, who has retired from this race on the hauler and headed to Lanier to my pro late block. That's right. Ellen also has a media pass, has some presence at the sprint track races. Happy for him. I know he loves doing it, and looking forward to seeing him continue his success on the dirt track side of things. Also, John Ross checking in. The boss is in the house tonight. John, good to see you. Not out on the racetrack, but stopping in the youtube.com live chat. And he's saying the same thing. 20 starting to get a little tight on exit. John saying needs to keep working down the track on exit and keep out of the 20s dirty air. So John and I are on the same page. We often refer to John Ross as the boss. Last week, Rod, he put on a heck of a show. Now he's going to take the night off. We appreciate you being here. In fact, all of you. And if you want to make sure you don't miss any of all the high-flying, high-octane racing action right here on Racers Elite Network, it's simple. Smash the like button, ring the bell. That way you'll get notified each and every time they load up in these race cars and set it live every night in prime time right here on Racers Elite Network. Heather in the youtube.com live chat as well, cheering on the 20. And I'll tell you what, Ron, we have some devoted, faithful fans that are religiously here each and every Thursday night, and I appreciate the heck out of them, as now we have pit stops underway once again.
Yeah, most definitely. Zach Lockett, the lone rocket, as he was the only one out on the pit road there a moment ago when Diego Rodriguez and Truth Hope came down pit road, but now he's by himself again on pit road as he's now being joined by the 42 of Leroy Koblenz. But as we know, those are two completely different ends of the spectrum as far as the leaderboard goes. And don't look now, but the Nitrous Cowboy has found his Team Extreme number 3 out front for Thomas. He's coming third. He's on pit road. It looks like Alex Tepp is going to take the race lead in the 43. So, Futurama sponsored Toyota with the race lead for the time being. I'm looking to see, because that means that he has not been to pit road yet. So him and Curtis Eckers about to get scored there. Christopher Pendle has been on the racetrack since 49 laps ago. So he's stretching that fuel out as far as Pendle can get it. So I imagine we'll see a pit stop coming from him soon, or at least fuel. So Curtis Eckers down and away. He'll return to the racetrack. And kind of curious to see how far Alex Tepp wants to push this, as it'll be 50 laps this time by, and not certain how much more fuel he's got.
I was just going to say, how much juice does he have left in the Capri Sun pouch in that Camry? He has not been down pit road since taking the green flag. And I'll even throw up the pit strategy graphic on the main screen for you folks at home. Take a look at this. He has been out there for 61 laps. Diego Rodriguez, everyone else has come down pit road. How long can the 43 go?
Starting to wonder if you got, for some odd reason, you still got a catch can stuck to the back of that car that we can't see.
He did that trick where they hollowed out the tubes inside the roll cage, where they ran fuel line through there.
just cashed in on his fuel check. He's come in 51 laps, so Alex Steff will probably come in this time around. This will check in at lap 51 for him, so I imagine if Pitbull came in, we'll probably see the 43 as well, and he's definitely going to want to cash in on some Dr. Feelgoods as well. His lap times have shifted downward south of the brown underwear story, and he'll be looking for a little bit of rubber when he comes in, so he's going to now bring that 43 to pit road and hand the lead over to Diego Rodriguez momentarily, as Rodriguez just now working his way down the middle of the backstretch.
Alex Steff now on pit road as he comes down. Going to look for some KO Peptate, some new skivvies, perhaps a splash of Gatorade and a full tank of fuel. However, that is impressive fuel mileage management by the 43, Alex the Teff version. Because that's not going to psycho, or cycle, not psycho. However, he's got some psycho speed out there on the racetrack tonight. Diego Rodriguez to the point, and the man with the new fast lap of the race, Zach Lockett, a 33.70. That's the new hot time tonight.
He's going to have to figure his fuel mileage strategy and hope for another caution before this is over. He's going to be just a few laps shy, or he's really going to have to sit on it, wait between now and the end of this race. 55 laps remaining, it's about 4 to 5 laps shy of the end of this pit window.
I think he's going to do just what you said. I think he is going to be very ginger on the throttle pedal, or as you said, sit on it. Just don't stand on it, right? There's a difference. I think. I was going to say, if I cut you off there, Ron, is, you know, I'm not 100% certain that wanted to go that far off the start of this race. He probably went hard for a few laps, you would think, right? Especially being the start of the race, your adrenaline's pumping. I bet you if the mentality from the time of that pit stop was to go all the way to the distance, he could probably stretch it another lap or two. It's not an eternity around this place, so we'll have to see how the trends of this race play out. And the one thing that would change everything, Ron, a caution flag.
Yeah, that or the lap car is in trouble.
Or we have seen this before.
Yep.
We've been there, we've covered that, and do not ask Andrew Teft about that, as that is probably snake bitten him more times than anyone that I've covered here on the broadcast side of things. Is, oh my, I did not see this one, Rod. Take a look, we put down the new fast lap of the race. Christopher Pendle on a Louisiana Screamer. Go ahead.
Somebody put in a set of railroad tracks out here, because he laid that one down at 33.652, and I'm sure he didn't lift off the pedal for that one.
I mean, that just blew Zach Lockett's lap to smithereens. I mean, that is absolutely lit with that Mountain Dew Code Red machine. Just don't.
This is kind of mind-blowing too, because I'm sure Draft has something to do with this. I'm not sure who he's around when he's actually out there by himself.
By himself.
Surprisingly. And that is a blistered lap. That puts the qualifying time at True Coach, like you said. I'm going to go back to qualifying time, 7.62. Even True Coach practice time was not that fast.
That was the fastest time we have seen by anyone since we have been loaded here. That's how quick that lap was by the 94.
The track temperature changed.
Yep, we're on the same page. I was getting ready to throw that up on the screen. Track temperature still at 76 degrees. Partly cloudy skies, however, that sun, it is long gone as one of the lights in prime time. 57% wandering. Ambient air temperature still hovering at 72 degrees. And you would think with the partly cloudy skies, that would allow some of that daytime heating to dissipate, as the cloud layer is really what insulates and keeps those temperatures up. Would back off a little bit, but it's really not affecting that track temp. All that heat from the cars has really solidified it at that 76 degree mark.
Yeah, I'm looking here. I believe Christopher Pendle may have gotten a penalty for too fast entering pit road. I'm not sure. He did come back in. He's on pit road right now. So he may have laid down the fastest lap. You better hope that sticks, so maybe it's worth something, because he's spending a little more time on pit road than I think he wanted. I think he's got a 40-second hole.
I'll tell you what, he is probably living right now inside the cockpit of that race car. To go out there and you have something go right for you, right? You click off a hot lap like that just to have your crew chief key up and tell you were too quick on pit road. Come back on down, serve this penalty. And Ron, he has been in that box for a hot minute.
Yeah, it's a little over, it's about a minute, almost a minute and a half now.
Yeah, getting closer to almost 2 minutes, so I wonder if he got a 55-second penalty.
Let's see what happened here.
Yeah, well, no indication here in the black box. It wasn't an incident on the racetrack, so as Ron was saying, it had to be something to do with that last pit stop. As we send it back to the point, the Michigan man has the play. He leads over Zach Lockett, the Rocket, Truth Hope, rounding out the top three. Greg and Honeycutt and the Knights Cowboy round out the top five here under the lights in prime time. Stick around. Don't go anywhere. We're going to take our first commercial break, and we'll be back with coverage all the way to the checkered flag and more right here on Racers Elite Network. Don't go anywhere.
Oh, Lord.
Race fans, good evening. Welcome back to Gateway, just across the the Mississippi River, the Golden Arches, or the Gateway to the west. That's where this track gets its name from. I almost said my network's name. Boy, how could you butcher that anymore? Anyways, welcome back to Under the Lights here in prime time tonight. And that's what I get for reading the comments while trying to talk at the same time. Is Zach Lockett currently carries the torch here. He leads as these laps start to get or to wind down off the board. However, that 20 is picked things backed up, dialed up the pressure once again as he is working mere inches at times off of his bumper in that dark horse Ford Mustang. I'm Matt Metler, my partner in crime as always, the Butterfinger Bandit. Rod, 86 laps currently written into the history books, 120 the scheduled distance. What does Diego Rodriguez need to do if he wants to dethrone Zach Rocket, Truth Hoke, and potentially even Brendan Honeycutt, as he's lurking on an alternate strategy if he wants to punch his ticket back to victory lane here when all is said and done?
Well, first and foremost, pit strategy is one, fuel mileage. But as of right now, and as far as this race has gone, green flag. Hang on 1 second. I got some wood here.
Nope, not a problem.
Alrighty. Now moving along here with the rest of the story, as we'll call it. I think he's playing his cards right at the moment, and he may have the race lead momentarily if he plays the lap traffic correct, as we're about to approach the back of the 43 of Alex Stepp, who's currently running in the 8th position, about to go a lap down to your race leaders.
Yeah, that tells you about the race pace these front runners are putting up. And remember, not that long ago, I mean, we watched the 43 stretch that midnight oil well past daybreak as he went, I think, the lap 63 on one tank of fuel. Now he's in the crosshairs of going to lap down. As you're on board with Diego Rodriguez as it got up close and personal, is I don't know how he kept the front of that bumper off the rear of that TRD-powered Camry. That was a matter of millimeters, Rob.
Yeah, the Mustang put its hooves down there for sure on that stop. He was riding the brakes, and he had those horseshoes planted firm in the asphalt. And I tell you what, I was seeing sparks up here as he was jumping on those binders to keep it off the back of the 93. And that's not really going to plague him too much. Alex Stepp is still in front of your race leader, so he doesn't have too much to worry about for the time being. But I believe Rodriguez may be playing a little bit of strategy here. Now that he's kind of reeled in and they're right there on top of Teft, they're probably going to, that's it, Rodriguez could try and dial up a move here, maybe see if he can get that 93 pinned on the back of the 43 on the corner entry, and maybe might be what he needs to get this race leading that Ford Mustang.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, no one wants to end up literally on top of the 43. That would be a bad thing, as all four tires of your race car would be off the ground. However, now the 93 has to think about playing defense and offense right here, and he is going to turn and burn, take it all the way down, going to eat on the inside. The 20 is going to follow, and they're going to try to slipstream Teft here, but he's keeping his foot in it. Look at him being like Ryan Newman out there.
If I was the 20 and it's just happening right now, they're kind of scooted up there. I was going to say I'd have probably pushed the 43 harder to the corner.
He's going to try to go 3 wide.
Ooh, things are getting interesting. Oh, man, and Lockett's going to get lucky with the ride out there. I think it may have been better thought of in Diego Rodriguez's mind not to deep drive that thing in there and use up all the rubber he's got. As the 93 comes to the 20 is going to short pit with them. That is a short notice pit stop. The 20 was not aware that was happening. As you saw the last second decision, oh, he's going to pit road. Let's go with him. Kind of made right there on the spot for the 20 at Rodriguez.
Talk about a switch hitter decision on the racetrack. Rod, if I tried to pull that off, I would have been in the grass and upside down somewhere in the infield. I don't know how he got that car wound down. How did he pull that off? That was incredible piece of driving by the 20. Insane.
Wildly thought of, and I'm curious who's going to get the race off of pit road, as Truth Hoke is currently on the point here on the racetrack. So we'll see when he decides to come to pit road. Is watching here to see who's going to move first. So this Rodriguez, but walk me first off. Wow, what a race off of pit road.
Their pit stops were literally in sync, no pun intended. And the 93 went bye on that one. Not by much, but as Rod said, probably one of the best races off the pit road I've seen in one time. And here we go, refill your popcorn. Grandma's got her life alert in one hand, her Big Betty in the other, and we're right back to it. The 20 goes up to the high side, trying to get some momentum there. However, Lockett just a little bit better on those new shoes as they come up the temperature.
Yeah, that could be a potential deal breaker for the 20, but we'll see. I still feel that Rodriguez may be trying to save a little bit, but maybe save a little bit too late. So we'll have to see. The conservation side should be about over 27 laps to go, but you still got to hold it, I'd say, for about another 12 laps. Get us to lap 15 or 15 laps to go before he turns it on, and it really bites into these tires to get a little bit more out of them. But I know they're going to pick up some lap times here and pick up some speed for sure. And Truth Hope is now on pit road, so the Nitrous Cowboys back out front in the number 3.
Right as we watch that battle, which will be for the lead and for the win right now, as we under our final set or stage of green flag pit stops, as it's been all lean, mean, and green since the drop of the green flag. Troy Thomas once again has that Team Extreme number 3 machine to the point, currently enjoying a slight advantage over Leroy in the 42. However, he is not going to have enough go fast to go the distance, as he has been out there now for almost 60 laps, as he was last out on pit road lap 59. Leroy may be coming down next time by out of Dover, Delaware. Then you have the 8 machine of Curtis Eckert. Then you have this battle right here brewing in the 4th and 5th position, and that is Lockett and the Michigan man, Diego Rodriguez, who is now fallen back just a little bit, but I think this is a calculated decision. The biggest thing right now for the 20 is do not overstimulate that right front tire. Do not get it hot. Do not wear that thing out. If possible, back those corners up. Bring it in as shallow as you can so you don't have to feed as much wheel. Keep as much temperature out of that tire as possible. And hopefully Lockett runs a little bit too hard. And here at the end of this thing, you have something that you can go out there and not catch him with, but you want to be able to make that pass. And to do that, Ron, you have to be able to get that front of the car to rotate.
I think Diego Rodriguez might have got into the backstretch wall a lap ago. I was going to watch to see if Troy Thomas came down for the road, but he is not set on doing that yet. He's now 38 laps on this set of tires, and he's not really looking too bad, but he's still a little on the slow side, 34.7 last time by, and actually he's a little bit quicker than Zach Lockett and Diego Rodriguez last time by 34.8 seconds. So Troy Thomas saved a little bit of rubber and is trying not to burn those tires up late in the going, so he definitely need to stop for at least fuel. 38 laps since pit, so he's looking at 62, 61, 62 laps on a run, and he ain't quite gonna make it.
Well, this is interesting because my timing and scoring is telling which he was laps down on lap 59. Are you seeing that on your end as well, Rob?
I would say the last pit stop, or lap since his last pit stop was 39, so it's roughly about there.
Okay. Just want to make sure we're on the same page here. So this is interesting. Could the 3 machine try to take a page out of Brandon Honeycutt's playbook, who's sitting there in that 8th place position, last down on lap 87, so we know he has enough juice to go the distance. But is oh my God, I did it again. I don't believe it, and Honeycutt's in the wall.
Same spot.
In the same spot where I KO'd the 00. This is a special skill set that I wish I did not have. Once again, that's the second car I've killed on command here tonight. As I was just getting ready to say that no one does it better on the long run or in the tire conservation department than this man right here, Brendan Honeycutt. And as you saw live on air, no need for the instant replay. And I am going to politely shift my cameras off of this race car and take it back to the 93's battle. And I'm not even going to say his name anymore just because that force is strong with me tonight. Rod, it's heating up again with 19 to go. However, the 3 of Troy Thomas is down pit road. Not going to have enough in the tank. Leroy in the 42, still out there on the racetrack. He has about a 7.7 second advantage over the third place car of Zach Lockett. Curtis Ecker still out there as well, last out on lap 60.
A lot of strategy going into play here in the closing laps of this one with 18 laps to go right now. So we're under 20 laps remaining, and Leroy Koblenz will look for pit road probably, I'd say, next time by. He might stretch it out further. He might enjoy the lead he has for the time being. But Zach Lockett and Diego Rodriguez are working the cycle back to the field and are back up in the 3rd and 4th positions. Curtis Ecker right now is being scored second. He hasn't been on pit road since lap 60. As Leroy Koblenz hasn't been on pit road since lap 58. So both those drivers really close. Ecker should be coming in this time with the number 8, and he actually might be next time. He might actually run that car completely out of fuel, but Leroy Koblenz definitely, I think him and Curtis Ecker will come together probably this time by, would be my guess.
You would have to think, because, I mean, they have to be past that fuel window. Right now, this is running on just blind faith right now, if you ask me.
I think they still have about 5 laps left. I don't know that they're going to want to do that and cut themselves down that much on potentially gaining. Like, if I were them, I'd maybe come into a splash and go.
Exactly, a splash and dash. That's what I'm thinking. And I'll tell you what, this battle, which should be for the lead after the 42 and 8 make their final pit stop, is right back where you'd want it to be for a nighttime thriller at the checkered flag. Let's jump on board here with the 20. See if we get an idea of what that race car is doing right now out there on the racetrack.
42 to pit road.
42 currently on pit road as he's in for his final stop. Quickly shift over to that as he's now on pit road, which means Curtis Ecker has to be in any moment as we send it right back down here to the trenches. World War II style warfare going on between the 93, and he catches the 8 at a horrible time. That's going to allow the 20 to close in right on the back bumper. Lap traffic playing a huge role here in hindering the 93's momentum, and that has gifted him right to the front of that race car, being that dark horse, of course. Here we are, reset, reloaded. Here we go again with 14 laps remaining, Rod.
Yeah, this will be the point where I believe the 8 of Curtis Ecker is going to find his way to pit road. I think he might have got locked to the outside. He was probably going to come down last time by, and that's going to now shift the lead over to Zach Lockett and Diego Rodriguez and put the hands back in the duo that's been battling all night long here at the Worldwide Technology Raceway. 1.25 mile oval here, as these drivers have been after it all evening long. And I tell you what, Diego Rodriguez is only this close because he was able to get that faster pit stop in on Lockett when they went to pit road the last cycle they went in. That pit stop was quicker for Rodriguez, and that's gonna like they say, win races in the garage, not at the racetrack. You know, everything, all the time and effort you put in before you get to the track is where your races are won at, in the garage. And all that practice on these pit stops that the virtual pit crew has done and getting on and off of pit road for the 20 has paid off so far. Now he's just got to be able to get it done in the seat on the racetrack and cover up on the ends that Zach Lockett is outperforming him on right now with a 34.053 last time by, and a 34.172 for Rodriguez. So a little bit slower now. Might have burned up a little more than he wanted to, or bit off a little more than he could chew when they were working on getting around Curtis Ecker. Ecker now on pit road.
I think they both did, as far in the tire department. And what I was just going to say, and you kind of hinted at it, Rod, Diego has to remember, don't get suckered into running in the jet wash, the dirty air, the winds of change coming off of the 93 of Zach Lockett. He has to be able to find a way to get some clean air to the nose of that race car if he's going to want to have the right front that can go out there and get the job done. And he's there. He's at that distance right now where all that turbulent air coming off the 93 is going to prevent that 20 from rotating. The only way he's going to have to compensate for that is to back that corner up or put that race car where the 93 isn't. So with just 10 laps to go, gentlemen's handshake lap on the board. This is where, if it was me, where I'm going to start going to work, doing some homework, trying to see where I can find some speed before I run out of time.
Yeah, it's been go time here as Rodriguez was faster last time by. I've been watching Lockett. Seems like he's either, I don't know if he's doing it on purpose, but it seems like he's pushing up in the center of the corner. And I don't know, he's rolling the throttle real easy off, or if it's the fact that when he gets on the throttle, the car's pushing through the center of the corner. I'm not certain. It seemed like he was kind of giving up a little bit of track position when he's doing that, but he's still fast enough that it's not really going to plague him very much, as Rodriguez a little bit slower last time by the flag stand.
Great point, Ron. So in practice, I quickly realized the 93 had a really fast lap time. So what I do, I went out there and purposely locked in behind him, and that's how he's been attacking this racetrack, or at least for 30, 40 laps when I was behind him. He sends it in the corner, you know, at a pretty moderately to where that front of that race car slides up the racetrack, and he's just got a way of getting that race car to hook and able to get back on the throttle really hard and get a great run off. I was trying to replicate what he was doing. I was able to do it a couple times, but not to the consistency that the 93 had. However, that was enough to bump my fastest lap time about 2.5 tenths. So that line is working. I just worry over the course of a long run with all that, when you sliding those tires up the racetrack. And look at this. The 20 has hit the switch. He has full arms lock on the back of that 93, and he is going to war. Look at the front of that 20 turn.
I say it's a little odd seeing the way that the 20 is working right now with the 93s. If you push up just a little bit, it's hard to do because Zach can definitely control from the outside if he allows the 20 to get inside. And I know that Rodriguez knows that as you see him looking to the outside of that right rear quarter panel.
Here we go.
He's going to undercut him. Here we go. It's crossover off the corner, and he's going to go to the inside. I'll lock it. Will this be for the race lead? Could this be the last potential pass? We've got lap traffic. Rodriguez knows this is his time to go as the 93 pushes. It's going to be a heat coming off of turn number 2.
Andrew Teff says, I want none of this. It's a John Force special down the backstretch. The 20 did not have enough. I thought he may try to send it in there all the way. John Bon Jovi smile, living on a prayer to the bottom. He just did not have the mojo. So here we go. He's going to get the run off the corner. Has in tow of that 93. Across the start-finish line. Look for the bomb drop. Here into the corner. Here he goes. He's going to send it in there like grandma's business after church on Sunday. The 20, can he get back to the loud pedal? It's a drag race down the backstretch. Up through the gearbox, 4th gear. He's going to have to downshift into 3rd. He is coming in there with the head of steam. Look at the rotors glowing for everything they're worth as they're side by side coming out of 4, Rod.
Yeah, up 116 now with 4 laps to get, or 4 to go at the line. It's going to be Lockett with the race lead. He powers back from the high side, uses the momentum to his advantage as they roll back into 1 and 2. It's going to be a dead heat side by side. We're going to glow the rotors. We're going to get the glow sticks going on down here in the middle of the night at the Worldwide Technology Raceway. As he potentially touch a little bit, Lockett goes to the wall. Does not actually make contact with it. Thought he was going to with that kind of momentum as he was rolling up. Woo! It is straight racing here at WWT Raceway for the final laps here with 3 to go this time by, and it looks like Rodriguez might have what it takes to get it off the bottom, but here comes the middle line off the top. It's still going to be Lockett with the race lead at the line.
I'll tell you what, the replacement for displacement is the turbos in that Camry XSE, as he's keeping it wound up, making all the boost on the high side of the racetrack. However, the 5-liter underneath the hood of that Dark Horse has got the torque up off the corner, and they are still gridlocked side by side like a air stop at JFK. They just cannot get away from one another. Who's going to hit the afterburner first? Is it still a side-by-side? Foreign affair for both of these drivers. Again, at the line, it's a dead heat. This is about as good as it gets, working a mere inches off of one another. These guys laying it all out on the line. And Andrew Teft, oh my God, he's going to get in it again. I was just going to say, Teft does not want to get caught up in someone else's, and it happens. It happens again to Teft. And the 20, I cannot believe this. Ron, I am speechless right now. Go ahead and take it. I can't believe that just happened.
The wild stuff happened when close racing ensues, and I'm going to break this down a little bit because what I think and what I saw could be two completely different things. And it looked like the 93 of Lockett pushed the corner exit, got loose. As he gathered it back up, he fishtailed the 20 and sent the 20 into a spin cycle. So I'd imagine that the Rocket Zach Lockett does not feel as great as he wished he did right now in the 93.
We're just going to go old school VHS mode here and engage the flux capacitor. I was just getting ready to say, we know what happens to Andrew Teft when he gets himself in these types of situations, and sure as heck, this race tonight has been rather clean. However, it has had its moments where it has just been vicious out there on the racetrack. And this one here is, watch this, folks. Let's pause it right here. We're side by side. Let's see if we can do a little shifty work here with the cameras. Let's see. Let's keep it right here. This is going to be a quarter speed playback. So the 20 starts to push up the racetrack just a little bit. That's fine. Oh, there's plenty of daylight between these two. Coming off the corner here, the 93 of Lockett almost net codes off the wall, comes down a little bit. And that's what's going to send the 20 redheaded stepchild mode. And then right in front of his face, Andrew Teft finds himself making contact with a race car that's holding on for dear life. In the front of Teft now has pug face on that Dark Horse Mustang is Diego Rodriguez. Is probably madder than a Keebler elf that got demoted to Fudge Packer right now. But Ron, I mean, that racing right there, that's about as good as it gets. And sometimes when you're riding that thin line between grip and slip, you're going to go over it, and that's going to happen. That's a part of clean, good racing. It stinks. You hate to see it, but that is part of it. And all of this has cycled Truth Hoke in the 55 ride to the lead. Are you serious right now?
Well, I wouldn't be too concerned about that, as Diego Rodriguez is actually going to restart this race in the second position. So, the big switch up here, I believe faster pairs have been used, and it's kind of wondering, the 93 of Lockett is back in the 6th spot.
Did he come down pit road?
I believe he did, and I think it may have all been something to do with the way that they were driving these cars, and it coming down to
he came down and put a set of tires on that race car.
Uh-huh.
This is going to be interesting. The cautions may not be done.
Yeah, I'd like to think so, but we all know when you got a fresh set of Dr. Philgoods and the iRacing.com space car hits pit road, as the lap cars are getting their laps back and rejoining the back of the field, as we are about to go back to green flag racing, and they're going to be, well, they're going to actually have to kill their minimum. They're going back to green flag action here. And Truth Hoke gets a great restart in that Wrangler 55, and they're going to have to get on him like flies on, everybody knows the saying, in the 55 Wrangler car going to the race lead. And it is going to be a dead heat here with 2 laps to go. And here comes Rodriguez looking at Truth Hope now.
Oh, look at this heat-seeking missile that has lit the afterburner, and he is raging war all over the back of that Chevrolet on those worn-out Granny Sunday slipper shoes. But Truth Hope is going to find a miracle through the corner, and the Tepter goes into the fence, and he's going to come back across the racetrack.
It's green. Cannot change. It's white flag lap.
White flag left. They're going to run it out. Does Truth Hope have some mojo left? Does he have the magic? Oh, my God. I don't believe it. The 20 just stepped on his lug nuts and killed this race car. Truth Hope is going to win this race. Here comes the Nitrous Cowboy. What the hell has happened? Through the final quarter of 3 and 4. I cannot believe it. Truth Hope has won this race. Your pole sitter, Zach Lockett, comes home in second. The Nitrous Cowboy comes home in third. And one of the wildest finishes you will ever see on the iRacing.com servers.
So Zach Lockett was given an EOL for that wreck.
Whew.
When between him, when I told you he got loose.
Yep.
When he fishtailed and caught the 20, Zach Lockett was responsible for the caution.
Man, we gotta go back and look at this one, folks. Every hair on the back of my neck is standing on end right now. I cannot believe what we just witnessed here in the closing moments of this race.
And not to mention, we were talking about Diego Rodriguez being up front and in second place. Zach Lockett comes home second in the 93 Toyota.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Wow.
I'm trying. I mean,
and the Nitrous Cowboy got a 3? Wow.
And Truth Hope and Troy Thomas are on the same team. So they just both bagged podiums and a win for their team. As I'm trying anxiously, here we go. I finally got that frame back, folks. We got to look at this again. This is, you cannot make this up. Hollywood could not script this better. This, for all intents and purposes, this race was Diego Rodriguez to win. And the one mistake he makes all race long, I cannot. This is why it's never over until it's over. No matter how many times you may have seen this happen before, don't count anything out until that checkered flag waves.
Well, they say that it's not over until the fat lady sings, and I've been looking at this crowd, and iRacing must not have a fat lady to put in the crowd because I ain't seen one yet.
Oh, no. They got 300 megatons of tuna out there for that one, buddy.
Most definitely.
Watch this. So Truth Hope pulls off a miracle comparable to when, Moses walked on water from a biblical standpoint with the way that he was able to slide that car through the corner on shoes that had no business trying to pull off that maneuver, but he did. And this is where it really, if that wasn't enough for you guys, watch this. Keep your eyes on the 20 here. In fact, with the powers that be, I can't even point my camera right now. It won't even let me put it on the 20. Thank you. Watch. Just watch this. Goes to. Are you kidding me? He's going to lose the race like that? He goes full-blown drift mode like it's a Friday night tandem drift mode. I mean, look at this race car. Look at the back end of that thing. It's skewed out 45 degrees. Slow-mo it. Look at the control. Look at the finesse. He's got it. He's got it. And then the car just goes red-headed stepchild mode on him. Watch this redirect. Look at that. He is a matter of inches from howitzering Truth Hope in the A pillar, the 55 ride. That car is, for all intents and purposes, going straight into the wall. Troy Thomas probably having a massive Toad Brown moment in his race suit. And just, what a heartbreaking way to lose this race. And
Oh,
Rod,
yeah.
I told Truth Hope before this race started, I thought he could get it done tonight. And he told me I was a horrible salesman to get out of his voice chat. And lo and behold, he did the damn thing. And then Nitrous Cowboy comes home third.
Almost. The Nitrous Cowboy got loose off a turn 4 coming to the line.
Yeah, he wanted his car up to at the end, but it didn't matter.
0.006, the gap between him and Curtis Ecker at the line.
All right, folks. We got to switch gears here. Get ready for post-race coverage. I got to catch my breath, calm down just a little bit, because I swear to God, my pulse is probably a lot higher than what it should be right now. We'll be right back in 20 seconds with post-race coverage and more right here on Racers Elite Network. What a wild one, Ron. Wow. Race fans, welcome back to Racers Elite Network. As one of the wildest finishes you will ever see on the iRacing.com side of things has erupted here at Gateway of all places. And the Magic Man, Truth Hope, your pole sitter, is going to absolutely rob Diego Rodriguez point blank in broad daylight after a self-inflicted mistake, the only one. The 20-mate all-race log absolutely decimated his race car in the closing moments as he was trying to pass a car that had literally no shoes left on it. And his car did the unthinkable. I still cannot believe what we have witnessed here. But Ron, the show must go on as we now switch to driver interviews. This is probably going to be one of the more lively ones we've had all season. Who do we got standing by, Rod?
Well, I'm looking at a number 3 Mountain Dew Toyota. It's driven by the Nitrous Cowboy Troy Thomas, who had some fantastic parts of this race to come down to crossing the line on the wall after giving it everything he possibly had and everything the car could give him coming to the wire.
I was not leaving nothing up there, buddy. It was throttle down off of 4. I'm like, shoot, man, I've been this close all year. Let's just hammer down. I gave one away at COTA, so I was like, crap, let's just do it.
Troy, I want to stop you there really quick. Did you happen to hear the conversation I had with Truth before this race went live?
No, I did not. He told me about it, and when I got back in here.
I jumped in the voice chat and I told him, I said, Truth, I was watching you out there on the racetrack. I said, you could get it done tonight. And he basically told me I was full of soot and to quit blowing smoke up his patoot. And I'm like, man, no. And then he goes out there and hits the pole. And then, have you ever seen a finish to a race like that? And here you are with the 1-3 finish for you guys. Heck yeah, brother. How you feeling right now, dude?
Oh, I'm enjoying it because I usually hate this racetrack with a passion. I just loathe it. But, man, it was, and I stayed in the top 5 all night. It was fun racing Leroy there. It seemed like we was attached to the hip for most of the race. And then almost final of the pit stop, I took 2 rights to try to get ahead of him, so it would have worked out good. So, dude, I'll take 3rd place any day of the week right now.
Hey, man, I'm happy for you. I'm going to kick it back over to Rod. I'm kind of stepping on his toes. I'm just as fired up, as amped up as you are. Go ahead, Rod.
One of those races where excitement, man. It was the pit stops and the pit strategy and fuel mileage. It all come down to the wire for everybody, and everybody was on a different strategy. It seemed like there was onesies and twosies that were kind of mixed and mingled with a couple others, but for the most part, the ones on top, it was a couples pair. It was like a kind of like Daytona, just tandem drafting. Even though draft didn't really, it played a little bit of part here, but to see some of the stuff, this race was just phenomenal. And been a great run for you, Troy. What we talked about what we've seen, what our favorite parts are. What was your favorite part of this race?
Oh man, just fishing the race. No, watching that last restart with Truth and Diego going at it. I don't know what happened to Diego. I think he just overcorrected, hit the wall. Then Alex came off of Ford, going to the white flag. He collected the wall. Like, heck, I got something for him. Then it's like, well, I'm going sideways. Let's just floor it.
Yeah,
So,
really.
it was a blast, actually.
It was probably one of the most fun races I've seen. For the drivers, even have a blast. Recently anyway. And to hear, you guys, just a great race all around. They come on with a 3rd place finish for you, but man, that's that's awesome. Is anybody else? Anybody you'd like to thank help you pick up a podium or 3rd place finish as we get close to the end of the season?
Oh, absolutely. You guys for doing all this. I know how much goes into it. So thank you all. And absolutely got to thank Andrew for everything he does for this league with everything we got going on. So, and my wife, of course, for letting me do this. My teammate Truth and Diego, Matt when he comes in there with us and messes with us some. So our unofficial misfit, as I guess we can call him. But dude, it's just, I mean, just man, that was a fun night. I'm excited.
Thank you, brother. That's awesome, Matt. You got anything else you want to add to the interview, Troy?
Man, I'm still kind of rendered speechless. I'm just as shell shocked, I think, as he is, and probably more than these guys. I've never seen a race end like that.
I have not either, dude. That was crazy watching it from the car.
When you go back and watch this replay, Troy, that car did something it hadn't done to Diego all race long. It got loose there on the bottom, and he saved it. He had it pointed back straight, and then it was like someone just decided to go Harry Potter mode, expecto patronum his race car. I mean, that car turned so fast and so violently it should be bent. It went head on into the fence.
I know it happened so quick. Me and Truth's like, what happened to Diego? Oh, my Lord.
Well, I'll tell you what. The 55 was inches away from having a very bad night because he almost completely raced him off the face of the racetrack. It was that close.
Oh, I know, dude. It was a blast. That was probably. I ran good the last couple of weeks. I still sour over the Coda deal. But
I was just going to say that. That was my last question. Does this help make what happened a few weeks ago a little easier to swallow, coming home with a solid 1-3 finish from a team perspective?
Oh, absolutely, it does. I mean, it's probably one of the best seasons I've had in the next gen. So I'm being consistent and running up front is tough in this league. So you got to smile when you get to finish the top 5.
Well, there he is, ladies and gentlemen, one of the nicest guys you will ever meet, Troy Thomas out of Boone, North Carolina. Very deserving of a good finish here tonight. If you remember a couple weeks ago, he was snake bitten, hearts were broken, and now that mending process has started as he gets himself a 3rd place finish and his team gets a 1-2 finish here tonight. Look forward to speaking with you again really soon, Troy. Enjoy this one, buddy.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you, guys.
We appreciate you. Rod, I'll go ahead and I'm going to get our 2nd place finisher queued up for you as well. And I'm going to try to calm down enough where I can interview our 1st place winner. Speaking of,
you got some unfinished business there. I'll let you handle that one.
Thank you, brother.
No
Now
problem.
joining us up in the Tony Trapassa Memorial broadcast booth, standing by with Rod, the Rocket, Zach Lockett. Man, what a finish to that race, brother.
So you had a great run back to it after being blamed for the wipeout of Diego Rodriguez, and Diego took it in his own hands after that and showed that maybe it was his fault after all. I was just thinking that. Unfortunately, iRacing said that Diego was not meant to be the winner, and as he tried as hard as he possibly could, but Lockett, a great run back up to a runner-up spot. You were probably wanted the win, but just as bad as anybody else out here is atrocious, and amazing as that race came down to the wire.
Yeah, no, it was a blast, and racing side by side there with 5 to go with Diego was a ton of fun. I really just wanted to end it that way, but he was getting some good runs on me on the inside. I was the outside is the preferred lane to defend, so I technically probably should have been able to clear him. I just wasn't good enough. Diego was super strong on the bottom, so just tried to gas it up a little bit more out of 2 and get the longer run, as much run as I could to get a good run down the backstretch, and got loose and hit into him. So felt really bad about that. Glad to see he at least got a chance to come back. I know he ended up head into the wall, which sucked, but it was fun overall. Really felt like I had this one in the bag until that last couple of laps. But we're on to Darlington, just a couple points out of the championship, so we'll see how it goes next week.
Most definitely. A snake was in the grass, and he got bit by his kin, I guess we'll call it.
Yeah.
You're able to come back up with that second place finish. A great run for you, Zach. I asked, I'm going to keep this in tradition a little bit. I asked Troy what his favorite part of this race was, but what was your favorite part of today's race here at the Worldwide Technology Raceway?
My favorite part of the race, yeah, is probably probably that battle there coming to the end with Diego. I think I like the whole race. I thought I for sure was going to get the pole and didn't end up getting the pole, which sucked, but that would have been a nice little bonus point as well. But hopefully got some more bonus points leading the most laps, and felt really confident all race. So I think racing side by side with Diego was my favorite part of the race. But I think my least favorite part was actually green flag pit stops, because that pit road is so long, and you got to enter in the backstretch, and you can either gain a bunch of time or lose a bunch of time. And I lost a bunch of time on the first stop. Was a little bit better on the second stop, but this track I never really liked it until today. Now it's I like the technicality of it. I like that there's a lot of you got to be really precise, you got to be really smooth, and I overall it was really fun.
Speaking of precise and smooth, how about that move that Diego Rodriguez made, that last ditch effort to come to pit road with you on that last pit stop before the caution?
Yeah, that was a great move by him. I didn't call it out or anything, just tried to swoop in there real quick and get there. I was hoping to undercut him by a lap or so, but no, he came in and stayed right on my bumper the whole way down into pit road. So wasn't able to gain any time there, but no, he did a great job. He ran a hell of a race.
Yeah, but so that's one thing I was like, man. I told Matt, I said he was. I tell you, Zach did not announce that, because that was he did everything he could to get there.
Yeah, everything I could to get there cleanly, but get there with throwing them off. So definitely try to throw them off.
So yeah, an awesome race for you guys. Anybody you'd like to help you pick up a runner-up finish here tonight, Zach?
Yeah, thanks to Leroy, my teammate here in the chat tonight. No John Ross or Josh Freed, but John Ross was a great help last night, helping me out here. Put in some laps to get to where I was tonight. Thanks to you guys for broadcasting, and thanks to everyone in the league. Really appreciate everyone. Go Racing Diecast being on the car, and looking forward to another race next week.
Darlington coming up is going to be a great race, and we'll let you go celebrate your runner-up finish, and we'll see if you can sneak into that championship spot next week.
Yeah, thank you. Should have a nice little throwback next week as well. So got something in the works. Be on the lookout for that.
Heck yeah.
Well, there he is, ladies and gentlemen, the Locket, Zach Rocket, always delivers in primetime, comes home with a solid second-place finish, and like he was saying, probably one of the best darn battles you're going to see on the iRacing servers between him and Diego Rodriguez before it completely went off the deep end with the end of that race. Craziest thing I've ever seen in my life since I've been up here in the broadcast booth. Rod, as you know, we are 2 down. That means 1 to go. As we are now joined by the winner and pole sitter of this race, Truth. Welcome to the Tony Trampassa Memorial Broadcast booth. Brother, what was I telling you before the race, man, huh? Come on.
Yeah, I know. I got lucky, man. I got lucky. Lucky.
Hey, well, luck doesn't get you the pole, man. Dude, I'm telling you, I seen the way you were out there on the racetrack, and I'm going, man, he can get it done tonight. And I know you thought I was full of crap and probably was just sitting there trying to blow smoke at you. But, man, the end of that race, Truth, my God, did you expect that to happen or what?
No, sir. What I was there for that last caution, I was just thinking, at least I get interviewed. When I get a podium, and I'm happy with it because Zach and Diego, they were the class of the field.
Those guys put on a heck of a show. I mean, that was about as good as you were going to get between keeping it clean and just a great old-fashioned slugfest out on the racetrack. And then
Yeah.
we had that incident, and then the stage was set. You stay out on the racetrack, you have some old shoes on that race car. I thought they were going to eat you up on the restart, and you pulled the miracle restart of the ages out, and you let that Camaro just grabbed, and it took off. And then the unthinkable happens. The 20 who has been perfect all race long on that low line entry, for some reason that car decides to go drift mode. And I know you probably haven't watched the replay back, but when you do, he had that car saved, and then it just became possessed, and it made a hard turn straight towards the fence. I mean, another couple inches, and you would have been with him, take it out in this. Did you even see what had happened to him? Were you trying to figure out how you were going to win this race coming to the line? Like, did you know what had happened?
When we took the white flag and went into turn one, I overdrove turn one. And I told him, I said, you made me overdrive turn one, just aggravating him. And all at once it's like, there he went. And I seen him a mirror go, and I thought, what in the world happened? And then it was like, I looked behind me, and there's my other teammate, Troy, on my bumper. But yeah, I thought he had me. I thought he had the inside, and he said he got loose.
That was the one mistake he made all race long. And when you watch the broadcast back, I don't think you'll ever see a race car turn from one direction to the other as fast as the 20 did there. And then, here we are. A first place and a third place finish for you and your teammate. Truth, a well-deserved win for you. I've always said on these broadcasts, and I've always felt like you've had the speed, you've had the performance, and you don't necessarily get the end results, but you do have the skill there. And tonight, a little bit of luck at the end, and you get yourself a big win here in prime time. So congratulations on that. How you feeling right now after punching your ticket here in victory lane in the playoffs, I might add?
Oh, I'm just, you wouldn't believe how happy I am, Matt. It's just like, can't believe I finally won in a cup car.
Heck yeah, brother.
Yeah, his first win of the night that puts him within 7 points of the championship, as well as Zach Lockett now just a couple points out. So a tight points battle definitely going into Darlington, Matt.
Yeah, go ahead, Truth.
No, go ahead. I was going to say, yeah, that's what Andrew was talking to me about.
And thank you for that, Rod. And, 7 points. I mean, anything can happen. You've seen it tonight, Truth. Even though you think you may have seen how these play out a million times. I know you've been a fan of the sport for a long time. You're an iRacing.com veteran. But as long as you keep fighting the good fight out there and you stay in it, anything can happen. Tonight is proof of that. Who do you want to thank who helps you get it done on the Wrangler 55? The floor is yours.
I'd like to thank my wife for supporting me in doing this. My teammates, Diego, Troy, and Jesse. Can't wait for Jesse to get back. And Andrew for putting this on. And Matt, you and Ron there for broadcasting. Can't wait to watch it back in the morning. And just all the drivers in this league, because they're all super good and fast.
Hey, well said, Truth. And there he is, ladies and gentlemen, the Magic Man. Comes through big time when it counts out there on the racetrack. Your pole sitter thought he was going to be perhaps left in the dust on a set of old tires. However, fate would have it written in the history books otherwise, as chaos and calamity would strike the 20 on the final lap of the race, as he obliterated the wall 55 at Truth Hook was able to skate by a matter of inches on the outside, shocking everyone, including us in the broadcast booth, to a first-place finish for himself and a third-place finish for his teammate. He's your winner, and within striking distance, just 7 points between himself and the championship leader as we get ready to tame the Lady in Black next week. Truth, thanks for joining me up here in the broadcast booth. Congratulations, brother. I couldn't be happier for you, and I look forward to speaking with you again really soon.
Thank you very much, Matt. And Ron, I'll talk to you later. Hopefully next week you can interview me again.
That's hopefully that interview will come back with another race win, and maybe we'll put you out there and on top of the leaderboard, depending on the finishes of Diego Rodriguez and Zach Lockett.
Yes, yes. Yeah, y'all have a good one.
You too, Truth. I'm going to go ahead and
buddy.
put you back down in the waiting room, sir. Well, Ron, those were the good interviews, and if you're the 20 of Diego Rodriguez, you're going to be thinking about this one for a long time.
Diego Rodriguez needs to focus on a top 3 finish, a good podium next week to probably put this championship to bed. And he's going to have to hope that Zach Lockett isn't 1 or 2 spots ahead of him where they might tie and have to go off of race wins.
So much implications. I mean, he went from confidently thinking he had this race won. Why wouldn't you? I mean, with the way things have been going for you here, he's always in the podium. He's always a driver that can go out there and win this race. And yet, I can't help but think back, and I know this wasn't the championship race, but I go back to 2017 or 18 with Carl Edwards at Miami. He has that race won, the championship locked up, and then NASCAR throws a caution flag. Really didn't have to come out. I didn't think it had to come out here tonight either, but yet it did. And all of a sudden, the impossible happens, and you got Truth Hoke in victory lane, and now he has the momentum. He's gotten that win, and we all know what that does for the confidence, and that's a huge thing for a race car driver, especially one that may be a little bit lacking in that department, who just feels like they haven't been able to get it done. Now you've relit that fire. That passion, that drive is back, and that only elevates people. And I think this is set up a great high-flight, high-octane thriller next week at Darlington. So we'll have to pick this back up next week. But I don't think we could have asked for a better race. And maybe, like you were saying, we'll think about running this race for the championship next time around.
This is a great track, and it was a great trendsetter for the end of close to the end of the season, and it's definitely one to be reckoned with. The drivers showed that it was both very technical, it was challenging, and as you can tell by the adversity and the diverse group of drivers that we have, they loved it. Some say it was a great racetrack to be on, and some say that they love to hate it. So the love-hate relationship sets well with the Worldwide Technology Raceway, and it set us up for a great championship race at Darlington next week.
Hey, well said, brother. I appreciate you always being along with me for the ride. I could not do this without you, Rod. Got to shout out Andrew Teff, the HMFIC, for everything that he does. He puts a lot of time into all things Racers Elite. In fact, this man eats, breathes, and sleeps it. All the different series, all the single one-off events, a lot of great things in the works as well. And cannot thank Andrew Tept enough, all the league admins, everyone that helps out on Racers Elite Network. We're a big family here behind the scenes, all here for one cause, and that's to put on and showcase great races like we had tonight. That's what it's all about right there at the end of the day. And want to thank each and every one of you guys for being on board with us tonight along for the ride. I'm going to read one comment here from the YouTube.com live chat. It says, I need to feed my family. I bet everything on you, referring to the 20. So the viewers at home, they felt the delivery on that one as well. Hopefully that's not the case. But unfortunately, all good things must come to an end, including this broadcast. Cannot do this with all the help of all the partners, strategic alliance members, McConey's setup shop. I mean, I'm having a brain fart right now because I'm just so hyped up about the end of this race. That's what you live for as a broadcaster. I mean, that's it right there. Want to thank all the fans for showing up. Remember, like, share, subscribe, smash the like button, ring the bell. One last thing to do before we get out of here, and that's take a look at the final results. We already heard from the top three. Curtis Ecker's going to come home fourth. The HMFIC, Andrew Tapp's going to round out your top five. Leroy in the 42 comes home sixth. Well, a shocked and has to be utterly disappointed Diego Rodriguez comes home seventh. How about Hayden Malcolm? Comes home with the top 10 and eighth. Mr. Honey Bunches of Oats comes home ninth. Brandon Honeycutt, Alex Teff 10th. Christopher Pendle and Alan Bergen round out the 12 drivers that took the initial green flag here tonight. And as the late, great Tony Trapasso used to say, as you walk down the road of life this week, do us all a favor. Don't play in traffic. And we'll see you next time right here on Racers Elite Network.